and welcome to another show of Baba TV. Now, for the last couple of months, I think I've been promising that we would have a virtual tour of Baba's mononash cave in Hyderabad, and obviously we haven't done it. So now, without wasting any more time, we're going to have our virtual tour. From things Baba said, it seems that during the new life, Baba was renouncing his old life of conscious divinity and adopting the role of an ordinary seeker. And then Baba said in the mononash, which means annihilation of the mind, Baba was going to try to annihilate his mind, the mind of the ordinary seeker, which of course means realizing God, because when the mind goes, God comes. Baba said this was a step that God was making him take, and that the chances were very good that he wouldn't succeed and he would drop his body. But if he did succeed and managed to achieve mononash, it would mean the resumption of his old life of conscious divinity while retaining the weakness and humility of the new life, which would give birth to the life, all in all caps, which would be both eternally old and new. Baba said the mononash was critically important, and that if he succeeded, it would mean basically his manifestation. And almost 2 years to the day after starting the new life, Baba started the mononash period in Hyderabad. He had asked the Mandali to look for a hill with a cave on it, the spiritual atmosphere, and they found one in Kojaguda, which at that point was around 10 miles outside of Hyderabad. Today it's probably part of the city itself, I don't know, but Hyderabad has grown so much. Anyway, the Mandali went and they found a hill, and it had a dargah, a shrine of a famous Muslim saint, Hazrat Baba Fakhruddin, at the top, and a saint who was still revered at that point. And it was interesting because there was no roof on the shrine, which seemed unusual, almost disrespectful. But the locals explained that whenever someone put a roof on, winds came up and they would blow the roof off. So after many, many attempts, they decided God must want it this way, and they left it without a roof on. Although a roof has been added now, as you can see in the photograph. So maybe God changed his mind, or building materials are just stronger than they used to be. Anyway, so on the 15th of October, 1941, Baba went to Kojaguda, and he spent the night in the dargah. And he spent the next day up there as well. And Baba had with him the 5 models that he had made that represent 5 of the world's great religions, and here they are. And I believe the first one is the mosque, and the second one represents the fire urn from Zoroastrian temples. And the third one is a Hindu temple. And then we have the church and the Buddhist stupa. And no one really knows what the work was that Baba did with these models, but it would seem that they probably had something to do with religion, religious ceremonies. Anyway, a day or two later, Baba moved down to the cave in the middle of the hill. Now, one reason Baba liked this cave is it had a natural ledge on which to put his little alabaster models. Now, there's no ledge visible here, but I think maybe at the very front of the cave, there we see a ledge. I was lucky enough to visit the cave in the mid-80s, and I don't remember there being a window in the back, but of course, I don't remember much from that time. So I asked Rick Chapman, who had visited it even earlier in 1967, if he remembered a window, but he couldn't remember either. But he did say in these photos, if he looks a little bit out of it, it was because of the exhaustion he felt from traveling and just from being buried under the avalanche of the love for their beloved that the local folks in Andhra had. And he said he really missed the opportunity of being in the cave alone, so he came back a day or two later so he could just spend some quiet time in the cave. And I have to say, when I was there in the mid-80s, with just a few people, it really was a nice atmosphere inside the cave. And that's what we're going to let you enjoy now via this video. And I should have said this earlier, but it's thanks to Gopi Krishna Meher of Hyderabad that we have these photographs and this video in the first place. And now we leave Hyderabad in the mononash cave for an entirely new segment of the show, his favorite things.
Rice and dal daily and budgers to eat, old men and children and musts that eat meat, sinners and sadhus and saints on the path, Kaka and El Chaud make Baba laugh.
One of Baba's favorite things was good-natured humor. Baba once said that when he was becoming realized, I lost everything, ego, mind, and lower consciousness. But thank God I didn't lose my sense of humor. This was one of the ways Baba made himself accessible to people. He was not some stern authoritarian figure or a remote ascetic, but someone you could relate to on a purely human level. And so, to ease the pressure of his work and to keep the atmosphere around him light, Baba would often ask those around him to tell him a joke. Now, this was a great opportunity for someone like Jal, Baba's brother, to make Baba laugh. But for others, as we will soon hear from Laurel McGreeny, telling Baba a joke was no joke. And yet this, too, often provided unintentional humor for one and all.
Well, today I'm going to recount a story that Mani used to like to tell about how it's no joke to tell a joke to Baba. And Baba liked people to tell jokes. That is, he would ask for a joke, and often the person was unprepared. Anyway, one time, some of the Western women were staying at Marizad, I'm guessing. I don't know the detail. And Baba would ask for a joke, and they'd be unprepared. Oh dear. So they decided to get a joke dictionary, and it was arranged in alphabetical order, and whoever was there of those women took a section of that dictionary. And Narina had the T's, letter T, and she would tell little Tommy jokes because that was in the section marked T. Anyway, one day, Delia, who had a different section, she had a cold, so she couldn't come for the little get-together with Baba. And maybe she had a cold for 2 days. It was a day or two later, I'm saying 2, that she felt well, and she came back, and they're sitting with Baba, and Baba asks for a joke from Delia. That's fine, she's all prepared. She has her section in her joke dictionary, and she tells a joke. And Baba makes a face, no laugh. Oh dear. No, Delia tells another joke. And Baba, again, makes a face like he smelled something bad. Well, I've heard this joke before. Why are you telling me jokes that I've heard before? Oh, Delia doesn't know what to say. But everyone else turns and looks at Norina, because Norina had told those jokes while Delia was away sick. And Norina threw up her hands and said, "But darling, I got so sick of little Tommy." So here's a little Tommy joke that Mani used to like to tell. Is it one of Norina's little Tommy jokes? We'll never know, because I never thought to ask. Nevertheless, we're going to say yes, it was one of those little Tommy jokes that Norina told Baba. Little Tommy is on the bus with his mother. And all of a sudden, his mother feels a little tug on her skirt. She looks down. "Yes, little Tommy?" "Mother, is it true that we're here to help others?" Little Tommy, yes, it's true. We're here to help others. What a good little boy you are, little Tommy. And the bus goes along, and she feels another little tug from little Tommy. And little Tommy looks up at his mother and says, Mother, what are the others here for?
Well, thank you, Laurel. You know, on Baba TV, we often go from the sublime to the silly. But this time we're going to go from the silly to the sublime. Because coming up now is a music video done to Jim Meyer's wonderful song, I Will Never Leave You.
I will never leave you, on this you can depend. I'll be always with you in ways you cannot comprehend. Let not your heart be troubled by the things that pass your eyes. The world is made of shadows that your mind learned to disguise. I will never leave you, on this you must believe. No matter where you're going, no matter where your path may lead, let not your soul be weary by this constant veil of tears. You know I'll be there waiting when the clouds all disappear. I will always love you in darkness and in light. We'll always be together. You'll never ever leave my side. Let not your heart be troubled by the things that pass your eyes. The world is made of shadows that your mind learned to disguise. I will never leave you. 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 I will never.
And now, from the sublime and back to the silly, because you know what that means. It's time for another Baba game. We're going to do a new game this time, a type of Baba Jeopardy. And let's go meet our first contestants. We have Michael and Lakshmi. Hello.
Hello.
And Cynthia and Richard.
Hi, Steve.
And the way the game works is I will show you our screen. And there's our grid. And you will pick a column and a price and make a guess. And if you get it right, you get that many points. And if you get it wrong, the other team has a chance to try and answer that question. But if they answered incorrectly, they get that number of points subtracted from their score. If you get 5 questions in a row correctly, then your turn ends, so that nobody can just sweep through all of it. Now, it says here, as usual, my producer has given me some notes, that the 4 of you have known about Baba for decades, and therefore you know all about finding Baba within, and surrender and love and obedience and all those good spiritual things. And this show isn't going to test any of that. And keeping with Baba TV, we're going to solely concentrate on trivial factoids.
Yes. I want to know if winning, if we're going after winning is really losing.
I think being on the show is really losing. So I think you've got that already, checked off that box already.
And Steve, you said points. There are no dollars. We don't get dollars.
No, you just get the joy of being humiliated in front of thousands of people worldwide.
Oh, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. So now I totally forgot what I was saying explaining the game. So we encourage all of you at home to play along with our contestants. But because this is only irrelevant, trivial information, please don't feel badly for yourself or for our participants if you bomb on this game. It has nothing to do with your status as a true follower of Meher Baba. So without further ado, Richard and Cynthia won the coin toss because they slipped me a $10 bill. And so they get to go first. So I will share the screen again. You get to choose your category and your mount.
Places.
Places. Let's try places for 100, Steve.
It means Meher flourishing.
Merzad,
I think so.
Yeah. We're going to guess Merzad.
And the judges tell me that's not quite correct. Michael and Lakshmi, would you like to have a guess?
We pass.
We do? Yeah, I would have thought Meher Azad as well.
We're passing.
Okay, we're passing.
Okay. It means Meher flourishing. What is Mehrabad?
Ooh.
Okay, Michael and Lakshmi get to go because this is their turn. Michael and Lakshmi?
Okay.
Nicknames for 100.
Papa or pistol?
Who is Erich and Merwan's father? Jaswala.
Who was Bahram Shah Dorab Jasawala, who was in fact Erich and Merwan's father. So you get 100 points. Go on.
All right, you go.
Nicknames for pets.
We don't have that. Do you want nicknames or pets?
Pets for 100.
Baba's favorite dog.
Mastan.
You're supposed to phrase it as a question, but that's okay. You're guessing Mustan. Who was Mustan? Okay, get to go again.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Oh.
Okay.
Nicknames for 200.
Pendu.
Who is Espandiar?
And last name?
Irani would be a
That's
good
a good guess. That's always a good guess with any of the Mandali. And you get to go again.
Oh gosh, okay. You choose.
Places for 200.
It was originally known as Tembe Hill.
Oh, I know that. What is Seclusion Hill?
What is Seclusion Hill? You guys are on a roll. Go again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Pets for 200.
Baba's Peacock.
Oh. Yes. You go ahead.
Who is Moti?
Who is Moti?
Oh.
Wow. Okay, this is your last one, because if you get this right, the other team gets a chance.
God speaks for 100.
To the universe, the illusion that sustains reality.
What is the dedication to God Speaks?
What is the dedication to God Speaks?
Oh, very good.
Okay, Richard and Cynthia, you've got your work cut out for you.
Let's try nicknames for 300.
Padre.
That one's easy. Farradoon Driver.
Who is?
Who is Farradoon Driver?
Yes. Okay, you're on the board.
Yay.
We'll try nicknames for 400.
Layla.
Who is Delia de Leon?
Who is Delia de Leon?
Nice. Okay.
And because they're more expensive, you've almost cut up already.
Shall we try nicknames for 500?
Sure.
Let's go for it. Nicknames for 500.
Nilu.
Who is Dr. Neelkant Godse?
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, you used his middle name instead of his first name, but I'm giving it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're winning.
We have another one.
How about God Speaks?
Let's try God Speaks for 200.
The fourth state of God.
What is the state of the embodied soul?
What is the embodied soul? 1400, go again.
Okay, we'll try pets for 400.
Baba's gazelle.
I'm going to have to pass on that one.
Michael and Lakshmi, do you want to take a guess?
We are passing on that.
Who is Lily?
Who was Lily? Wow. Okay, you guys may need counseling before this is finished, but you got it right. Michael and Lakshmi, go again.
God Speaks for, yes, 300.
God cannot be explained. He cannot be argued about. He cannot be theorized, nor can he be discussed and understood. God can only be lived.
What is a very good idea?
Well, that's a good answer, but the judges say we cannot accept that. Richard and Cynthia, do you want to try?
I believe that's the conclusion to God Speaks.
What is the beginning of the conclusion of God Speaks? You've just jumped way ahead. And to this exciting juncture, we're going to end the game for now, and we'll show the incredible conclusion next month. And don't forget, if you want to be a contestant in one of our games, just email us at babazoom777@gmail.com. And now, it's time for another Blue Bus segment. On today's Blue Bus segment, we're going to tell you a story from the third Blue Bus tour, the one that began by traveling down to Ceylon. On November 1st, 1940, Baba and a party of approximately 32, the sources disagree on exactly how many people went, left Mehrabad for a 6-month stay in Ceylon, which is now called Sri Lanka. It took 2 days of traveling to reach the end of India, and another day to take the ferry and then travel to Vijayanagara, a little north of Colombo in Ceylon. Ironically, although this was the start of what is known as the third Blue Bus tour, there were so many people traveling and there was so much luggage that almost everyone traveled by train, and the Blue Bus and a lot of the luggage and only a few others followed. When they reached Vijayanagara, they hired cars to take them to Hikala, a coconut plantation owned by a local Baba lover named Rustamji Bilamoria. Although the surroundings were scenic, Baba continued to stress the need for harmony amongst the women and implicit obedience to him, while simultaneously making this difficult. Now I have to digress slightly here. The above photo you see was not actually taken during the Blue Bus tour, but our research department could not find any photos, really, that showed all the women on the Blue Bus tour. And this photo, which was taken at Mehrabad roughly 2 years before this story takes place, includes almost all the women that were subsequently to go on the Blue Bus tour. So this is the best we could do. Now returning to our story of how difficult Baba made it for those traveling with him, Donkin related that Baba seemed to create situations where the Mandali were exhausted and hungry, and it was even harder than usual to maintain your mood. And this was when Baba would push you to your limits. Baba stirred things up amongst the women both individually and collectively. For example, even when giving the women a special treat, he found a way to work on Rano, which she related in her book Because of Love, page 37.
Even throughout the Blue Bus tours, I continued to have to deal with my stubborn streak, and Baba continued to provoke it. In Ceylon, we had a special treat of cut-up pieces of coconut sprinkled with sugar. Just as I was taking my first piece of coconut, Baba, who obviously had nothing to do at the moment, said, "That's not good for your throat." "But Baba, I love coconut. I've eaten a lot of coconut, and nothing ever happened to my throat." It went on, and I refused to give in. In the end, I had to. I knew Baba wasn't going to let up until I did. I said, "Yes, Baba, you're quite right. It's not good for my throat." So whenever I eat coconut now, I remember that it's not good for my throat.
And one of the ways it seems Baba worked was through his constant change of plans. After settling in for a protracted stay at Hikala, on the 16th, not even 2 weeks later, Bob had everyone moved to the Primrose Hill Tea Estate outside of Kandy. In addition to Elizabeth's car, they had to hire another car, 2 buses, and a luggage truck just to transport everyone. It was only after this move that the Blue Bus finally arrived. And again, even though they were on a beautiful tea plantation overlooking Lake Kandy and the Mahawali River, Bob continued to work on the others as well. As Lord Maher recounts, each was kept under the master's grindstone. Their minds were continually assailed to crush their egos. And yet Baba's love sustained them through all this. As Baba's sister Mani was to write in a family letter almost 20 years later,
"When we, in our short-sightedness and self-ignorance, think we have reached the limit of our resources, Baba pushes us one step further, making us dig deeper into the scrap bag of our individual capacity, to find there's, after all, more of it than we thought. And every time this painful process is over, we are left a little happier, wiser, and bigger."
Baba's love, and even his humor, sustained them and often defused tensions that he himself had created, as we shall see in this account from Margaret Crass, Still Dancing with Love.
One of the amusing disagreements between East and the West had one of its periodic surfacings, and I have heard that this subject still rumbles at times. That is, which is superior, water or toilet paper? One day, while we were sitting round Baba, a heated argument arose acrimoniously on both sides. Baba said nothing, but with a smile sat watching his chosen disciples. Finally, Nadine Tolstoy, who was not a quarrelsome person, and I think did not care either way, said soothingly that as far as she could see, the answer should be, use both. A few days later, the bus took us sightseeing to different beauty spots of this enchanting island. We stopped in a village where in the middle of the village square were 2 toilets. They looked like telephone booths and sent forth a smell unimaginably horrid. All went well until Nadine took her turn and for what seemed a very long time did not reappear. Those waiting their turn were fussing and grumbling about this monopoly when along came Baba, who listened to our opinion of Nadine's behavior. Baba looked extremely serious and on his board spelt out, "She is using both." Baba's fun broke the tension and no one was nasty to Nadine on her reappearance.
And that pretty much wraps up our show for this month. And speaking of shows, we have 7 other shows up on YouTube, so check it out. You might like one of them. And speaking of likes, we just got our first dislike, which makes me think that we must be doing something right. But I'd love to hear from all of you with ideas for future shows, suggestions, comments. We're getting very little feedback, and I'd love to get more. So after you watch a show, feel free to just put a comment down below. Thanks a lot. See you next month.
Happy trail. trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Happy trails to you till we meet